You're welcome to the Economy and Politics Conversation. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. This edition will discuss Nigeria's capital market development, a regulatory perspective. Joining me virtually for this conversation is Dr. Emomotimi Agama, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me, and I think it's a privilege to be here.
Thank you very much, sir. Let us begin with your assessment of the ongoing banking recapitalization exercise and the impact of the SEC guidelines on the public offerings and rights issues of banks. We also understand there's been some work between SEC, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the National Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, just to ensure that it's a seamless process for the banks as they go through this phase. Bring us to speed with how activities are going so far.
Yes, thank you. This is a very timely question, especially with what is happening now. And the SEC of today is an SEC that speaks to integrity and transparency of process. And that's why it was important to provide clarity, which is a major, ingredient in a transparent capital market. That clarity came out of the regulations that the SEC brought out to support the banking recapitalization. The banking recapitalization is a very, very important step by government to strengthen the banks and indeed provide capacity for the banks to on-lend to the real sector so as to drive the economy, as provided for by the Renewed Hope Agenda Initiative and the desire of the president to turn out a $1 trillion economy. And so it was important that all institutions that are concerned with this activity, come together, cooperate, and provide the needed guidance for the banks to be able to run the program. This is about the second time that the SEC will be tested in its capacity to be able to handle this. The first one was in 2004, as you are aware, during the last Soludo recapitalization exercise. Tested, and we came out of the test positive. This time around, it will be different. Why? Because we've learned from our lessons, in previous times, and we've added those lessons to creating an environment that makes it seamless. Hence, the introduction of the guidelines and, of course, technology to help deal with it. So the guidelines, as it were, has actually brought about stability, transparency to the recapitalization process. Public offerings and rights have increased. And of course, you see the interest, being galvanized by the actions of the SEC in trying to make sure that this is a success. And I can tell you without doubt, the information we have received thus far shows that we are actually on the right course, and we are happy that that's happening. We'll support to the Central Bank of Nigeria and to every institution that understands the value and the premise of the capital market. The capital market is indeed, the barometer of the economy, and the SEC at this junction is ready to live up to that billing.
Thank you very much, DJ. We watched you when you came to the NGX to talk about the digital offering platform, which was approved by SEC, and we've seen how that is flowing so far. 5 banks have already come on board. We expect to see others, and the whole spacing from the guidelines. Very critical this period. Let's look at something, of course, that has really received a lot of enthusiasm in the country, and that's the recent SEC approval in terms of, in principle, for Busha Digital and Quidax Technologies to operate as digital asset exchanges. This is a positive step for the fintech industry and, of course, digital assets value chain. And also, we just want to ask, because remember in 2018, the whole sandbox was launched, the whole process, and now we've seen how it has progressed. If you can give us some progress around the sandbox for digital technology players and how this licensing will change the games and further deepen the capital market.
Yes, once again, I consider myself privileged to be here at this time because it's a time where a lot of things, good things are happening, and the SEC is at the forefront of such activities. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is so concerned and interested about, what happens to the youths of this country. And if you are, a conversant with our demography, which I know you are, you know that over 70% of Nigerians are youth. This area, digital technology, is their forte. And what better method do we need to, activate to bring them in to the full discourse around their activities in the economy and what they can do for the economy? So this is actually what has informed the SEC's, pragmatic and proactive action in making sure that the digital exchanges come under regulation. Coming under regulation will typify investor protection. And that is very important. Will typify investor protection, clarity of purpose, and indeed provide certainty in the actions that we take in this space, which is of utmost importance. We also recognize that it's a major issue regarding our FATF, our grey listing, delisting, because we need to come out of that. And so it was important that the SEC takes the step it is taking. And the idea is not to make sure that we encourage innovation, to get people more inclusive in the system that they are already in, and not to drive them down into the hole, with the idea of, propagating the issues of risk. Indeed, risk management requires that we bring them to regulation, we bring them to understanding regulation, and we bring them to providing the structure for themselves while trying to also provide, avenues of assets, reclassification and investment in the Nigerian economy. So for us at the SEC, what we have done is to provide, a major guidance. And that's why we have what we call the Regulatory Incubation Program, the Accelerated Regulatory Incubation Program. What do we mean? It's a controlled environment wherein we say, come in, let's see what you are doing. How are you doing it? What are you doing in it? How are you protecting the investor? How does it affect our economy? Are you also able to understand that you have a responsibility to pay taxes? Have you included that in your processes, right? And do you also understand that you have a moral responsibility to the strength of this economy and not use it as a tool, right, to destroy our economy? These are very, very important things that we are doing. So we are cooperating with the Central Bank of Nigeria, we are cooperating with the FIROS, we are cooperating with the Office of National Security Advisor to make sure that we have a safe environment where this will thrive. Because you necessarily must take care of the youth. And that is a very, very important aspect of the president's renewed hope agenda initiatives. So we are happy with this step, and we'll continue to guide, these enterprising youths of this country who just wants to unleash their potentials in the area of fintech. And I'm sure after we've done what we are doing now, Nigeria will not be the same again.
Yes, that's talking about being proactive and ensuring that investor protection is at the core in this area. Now let's look at proactive steps that are being deployed to improve listings and activities in the capital market. And when I talk about this, I'm looking at the whole value chain from equities to the fixed income to the commodities, which you've talked about in your former role. And of course, we have the unlisted securities. ProShare in its 2024 Capital Market Outlook report stressed the need for Nigeria to build a register of idle public assets and list public assets on the local equity exchanges. So how is SEC also working with the Ministry of Finance Incorporated and other key agencies that can bring on board major state enterprises like the NNPC Limited? Everybody's talking about listing the NNPC Limited. And of course, you've seen what's happened with the Dangote refinery, and with production now, we'll be expecting much later to come and list, but creating that avenue for more listings that deepens the market and supports the economy.
This is very close to my heart. And of course, my previous roles. And so it is something that I've been dealing with for years. I haven't been at the SEC for over 2 decades. And it is important that we understand that we are an emerging economy. And being an emerging economy, the statistics and the principles that exist within other economies do not exist in ours. However, we are peculiar. So contextually, we need to do certain things to push the envelope. What are those things that we need to do to push the envelope? Education is critical. Sometimes we think that we need to put in policies first. No. The first thing that we need to do is educate people, get them to understand the value of what we are speaking to. Again, I commend the president because he has always hammered on the need to redistribute wealth. How do you distribute wealth? You can only redistribute wealth, mostly, rather, through privatization, through listing, where more persons are welcome to the table. That is what it is. That's what listing of a security means. Because what you are doing is you are democratizing and creating inclusiveness. Inclusivity is very critical because in inclusivity, you have ownership. And so we all build the country together. We all build our industries together. So for us at the SEC, we will encourage as much as possible every government agency that's involved in all of this to provide incentives that will bring and drag these people out. Besides the incentives, one of the things that we at the SEC will continue to do is to educate those that are managing these institutions, to get them to understand that listing of those institutions does not remove power from them. It rather provides bigger power because united we stand, divided we fall. So it is for us, a critical part to continue that education, provide incentives, and most importantly, make sure that time to market is reduced. Providing that certainty, getting them the assurance, knowing fully well that when you want to come to the market, when you decide to come to the market, you are able to follow a calendar. And that calendar is supported by the SEC. We are also, working towards inclusions via technology. That is why we encourage apps, we encourage fintech tools, and that is why I supported the launch of the e-offering platform at the Nigerian Exchange. But we encourage every other one who wants to participate and qualify to participate in this process to turn it around the way people see investing. We want, investors to have a beautiful experience. We want them to feel at ease, to make it so easy for them that each time they feel like investing, it brings happiness to them. And we will continue to do that through encouragement of technology, through education, and everything that we need to do, incentivize industries, and make sure that bottlenecks are removed in the process of rejuvenating the Nigerian capital market.
It's very clear, and with your experience, that will be very pivotal to the growth of our capital market. As the apex regulator of the capital market, how is the SEC investing in research to strengthen its role in market development and making sound regulatory decisions? We've seen some of them, but consistency in that regard. I know you, in your other role, served as the managing director of the Capital Market Institute, but looking at research over time, it's very critical. I know that the SEC Nigeria is also templating and looking at what other peers like the SEC US and others are doing, and you're also part of IOSCO. But in terms of deepening that research, what should we expect further from your SEC leadership?
SEC is not brick and mortar. SEC is a knowledge-based institution, and knowledge is key. So speaking from that angle, research is a fundamental part of knowledge. And the SEC of today clearly requires so much to be done in that area. We at the SEC have put in place very dynamic tools to achieving that. One of those tools is that the SEC has actually recently gotten approval from its board to set up what we call the Visiting Scholars Program. The Visiting Scholars Program is to, attract eggheads from the academic community, right? To come sit down and start, researching on issues that are important and germane for the growth of the Nigerian capital market. As you are aware, I am a researcher, so I cannot but do what I need to do to be able to put research, at the height of the SEC, knowing fully well that good results are actually a result of research activity. So today, we are proud to say that we have that approval. Arrangements are being made for that to happen and to strengthen the research department at the SEC, in order that the research items that comes out of the SEC will be so qualitative that will be a place to go to at any point in time. So we are also signing memorandum of understanding with various institutions, which we did recently with the University of Maiduguri. We have one with the University with Nile University, and we are also about running a program with the University of Bradford, the UK. All of this is towards building that theme of solid research that no one can fault at the time we come out with it, and to bring about solutions, because the essence of research actually is to bring about solutions to problems, and that's exactly what we want to do.
Very interesting conversation, DG, and clearly in looking at the outlook of the capital market report, one of the recent ones published by ProShare, there's a clear understanding and belief from ProShare that the SEC, Nigeria, is a pivotal institution that provides regulatory context for the movement of investment capital. Its sensitive and crucial nature in guiding capital market activities suggests that its funding must be devoid of influence from market operators. In this sense, the institution should be shielded from the fiery desires of traders and market speculators. And we hope that that will continue to be at the front burner, and SEC will continue to be allowed to play its role to deepen market development and continue to provide guidance so that we can have a capital market that is vibrant and supports the economy. Thank you very much, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria, for this opportunity to have a conversation on Nigeria's capital market development and regulatory perspective. So much to unpack and learn on how SEC Nigeria is going about regulations and how to further deepen the market and support growth in our economy. Thank you once again for taking our time to have this conversation with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here, and let's continue to engage, because I need you to be able to build the market of tomorrow.
Yeah. To our viewers, if you want to get further insights on this conversation, visit the ProShare website, where we have lots and lots of write-ups on activities around regulations, the activities of Securities and Exchange Commission, and how it's providing guidance and activities to deepen the markets. Also follow our social media platforms displayed on the screen to further engage on the show. Until we come your way again, enrich yourself with the knowledge of socioeconomic developments around you. It is wise. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.